Hey everyone, today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite Father's Day gift ideas for 2024. As usual, I'll have some EDC and travel focused gear, but I also have a few items which I think are just fun and interesting and will hopefully provide some inspiration as you're looking for ideas this Father's Day season. So really excited to share them. Before doing so, I want to give a shout out to Huckerry for providing some of the gear that I'm going to be showing in this video. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. I've always been a big fan of hats, but over the past couple of years I've really come to like trucker hats in particular. There's just something about the shape and the style that really feels quite comfortable to me, and I have a lot of different styles of trucker hats, but this one from Huckerry really caught my eye. I just really like the more kind of retro aesthetic that it has. On the front you have the Huckerry logo, and their typical slogan, "See you out there," which I really love, just the kind of adventure vibe that this gives. And then it's got kind of a foamy, well padded material here on the front and on the brim, which I think looks and feels nice. And then the actual mesh portion of the hat feels really high quality, comfortable. It's going to provide a nice amount of breathability. You have the snapback closure, which feels really secure. I also like the accented color here. This yellow just works really well with the olive color of the hat. It's offered in a few different options, but this is the color that stood out to me. And then on the inside you also have this nice material here to help wick moisture. And so yeah, it just checks off all the boxes for what I'm looking for out of a trucker hat. And then it provides that retro vibe, which just gives it a little bit of bonus points. It feels great, and if you know somebody who is a fan of hats, this is going to be an excellent option to add to their collection. These memo style bottles have become quite popular as of late, and it's easy to see why. They have a really distinct and kind of stylish modern aesthetic. They are inspired by kind of old school flasks, and so you can see that in the opening. Very smooth and easy to open it up whenever you want to drink something, super secure. And then they have a more slim and kind of squared off profile. They're offered in a couple of different sizes. This is the one that has appealed to me the most of the options that they offer because it's a little slimmer. So it's a taller water bottle, but it is able to actually slide into some of the tighter water bottle pockets that you find on some bags that don't have a ton of elasticity or volume. So I actually find this to be super functional and useful. It's still able to hold a good amount, and then it has stainless steel build quality that just feels like it's gonna hold up very well. Super high quality. You can put this in a freezer. It's able to handle hot temperatures. And then of course I will typically tend to use this mostly as a water bottle. So it just looks a little bit different, feels super durable, stylish. And if you know somebody who wants kind of a versatile bottle, then this is going to be a fantastic option to take a look at. One of the everyday carry items that I always have with me is a pocket pen. I just find it super useful to have this whether I'm traveling or going about my day-to-day. I talk about it in a lot of my EDC videos, and I'm always on the lookout for compact options that also offer a little bit of added functionality. One of my favorite pocket pens is the Fisher Space Pen, but this option from A-Tech really caught my eye because it offers a similar form factor and size, so easily able to fit into a pocket, but it manages to sneak in some additional features which I think are really interesting. So first up, it is meant to be kind of a keychain pen in addition to a pocket pen. It includes a little loop so you can hang it onto a carabiner. I like to pair it with the Holcomb carabiner that is from the James brand. I featured this in a couple of other videos, and it's one of my favorites just because of its smaller, slim form factor. It's got a really reliable carabiner. It has a little scraper tool that can also work as a flathead screwdriver, and it just goes really easily onto a belt loop. Gives you that extra bit of space, and so pairing it with something like this is kind of perfect. Creates still pretty easy form factor to clip from my belt, to put into my pocket. Doesn't take up a ton of space, so definitely check out the James brand carabiner if you want to present a keychain solution to somebody. But coming back to the pen itself, in addition to the smaller form factor, on the side, I love that it has a little ruler. You have centimeters and inches. This is always a helpful reference. There's many times where I just need to quickly see how much an inch or two or a couple of centimeters would be. So super easy to have that. It's a little bit smaller. It doesn't expand to the height of the Fisher Space Pen. A-Tech does have a larger full-size pen that has some additional features, but this size to me is still a good balance of something that's very kind of portable. And then it is a pen that you just twist open. It writes very smoothly, easily, nicely. And then you can take the back of the pen off and you have a stylus here. So if you prefer to use that with your tablet or your phone, it's always nice to be able to have this to maybe sign, or if you like to take digital notes, you can do so in a pinch. And then you can actually remove that. And you also have a couple of bits that you can use for small, quick repairs. You have a flathead screwdriver, and then you also have a Phillips head. And yeah, so that's, as the name implies, a 5-in-1 functionality in a really compact form factor, very useful, and it also comes in at a pretty reasonable price. At the time of filming, this was listed at about $16 on Huckerry's site. So, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more affordable and a fun gift idea, then this is gonna be a phenomenal option to consider. A slingshot is something that I haven't used in a long time, but I was super excited when I saw this option from K-Bar on Huckerry's site, because I used to love using slingshots when I was younger. It definitely took me back. I always had a blast just setting up some soda cans and then shooting rocks or BBs at them just to do some target practice. And so, this is definitely one of those gifts that I would say is a little bit funner. It's still very functional. It's well built. It's got a really solid polymer handle, cool form factor. It's pretty compact. And then, very reliable kind of elastic band here that will allow you to, really send some particles flying very quickly. You have this kind of leather catch here for whatever you're gonna be launching. And so with any item like this, disclaimer that you can definitely hurt somebody, hit somebody in the eye, or you want to be careful with where you're shooting things. Make sure there's nothing behind you, and you always want to be very, very careful with items like these, as they can lead to serious injury. So I feel like I gotta say that. But to me, a slingshot is just a really fun, simple item, especially if you have somebody who you want to bring out some of that nostalgia. This is gonna also come in at a pretty reasonable price, so just a nice, simple gift idea. K-Bar, of course, is a very well-known brand, been around for a long time, delving into some items outside of the knife space, and so this is high quality, durable, functional, fun in general. To me, this is what it speaks to, and something that I could see myself having a blast with, just hanging out with my dad, setting up some soda cans. And so if that's something that you could see for yourself with your family, this is definitely gonna be a fun, simple gift to maybe check out. Another idea, which I think is really interesting and a lot of fun, is a lock picking practice set. So if you have somebody in your life that's a little bit more of a tinkerer or handy, this could be an interesting thing to kind of get onto their radars. I've always been fascinated with the idea of lock picking, not for any criminal activities or anything like that, of course, but on the one hand, it might be nice to just have the ability to get yourself into your house if you happen to get locked out. And then it's just pretty interesting if you are somebody who, likes to see how things are broken down, how they work. This is a clear lock that allows you to see all the tumblers and everything that's happening as you're trying to learn to pick the lock, so you can get familiar with how it works. It includes a key, so you can actually open it up, you can see everything happening in the background, and then kind of translate that to using the lock picking tools that are included. Huckerry has a set that has the tools, the lock, and the key, so that you can open it up, see what's going on, and then practice. I'm not a lock picking expert by any means. They all seem to have similar set of tools, a couple of lock picks, and then a tension bar. And so I am definitely not an expert by any means, but it's something that I've enjoyed playing with. It's a fun little fidget aspect, and then you might come away with a practical skill set. And it also comes in at a pretty reasonable price. So again, if you're looking for fun, unique ideas for somebody in your life that might get a kick out of this, I think it's gonna be an awesome option to consider. Pocket knives and multi-tools to me feel like quintessential Father's Day gift ideas, and so I couldn't make this video without including at least a couple of these options that I really like. On the one hand, for the person who is ready to kind of fix anything at a moment's notice, you have the legendary Leatherman Multitools. The one that I have here is the Wave Plus, I believe, and it includes a carrying case, so you can clip it onto your belt. You have it ready to go. It's not something that I typically have on my belt, but I always like to have a multi-tool as part of my backpack EDC carry, because it just provides so much functionality in a small package. And so the form factor here is well known. You have tools along the exterior. I really like that Leatherman has emphasized the ability to open a lot of these tools with one hand, so crossing over into some of the practicality that you would just find with modern pocket knives. These lock into place to make them a little bit more secure to use. You have a saw, you have a blade, a lot of different tools included as part of this. And then you can open it up to, of course, have a nice set of pliers, wire cutters, and then really interesting sort of variety of tools. You have the rulers along the edges, and then you have the variety of tools that are included here. You have a screwdriver tool here. All of these lock into place. I like that it has this locking release mechanism here, so it all works very smoothly. It feels super secure, and then the variety of tools that's included is always super nice. Can opener, screwdriver, you have a couple of different blades, you have some scissors. So, really just kind of checking off a lot of the boxes for what you'd expect out of a tool like this with Leatherman's legendary build quality and functionality. So if you know somebody who just wants to be prepared for anything, who's super handy, and who'd have a lot of fun with a tool like this, Leatherman will always be a safe option to go with. But if you want to provide some of that in a smaller, more subdued, pocket-friendly package, then the Ellis knife from the James brand, it's one of my favorites. I featured this in some previous videos and happy to bring it back. I see that Huckerry has these on their site. And it's kind of a modern take on the standard Swiss Army knife. I've had so many of those over my life, and I like the smaller form factor that this has. It's got, the James brand's sleek, modernized aesthetic. I like that it has a deep carry pocket clip. So this is always super helpful for me. Something that I love for many of the modern pocket knives that I've used is that ability to just keep it accessible, organized in my pocket. You have the James brand's well-known kind of everything scraper tool that also works as kind of a flathead screwdriver there. And then you have a simple blade that uses a slip joint lock. So it feels very secure and safe. You can get this with a serrated blade or just a regular blade. I actually like the serrated option because I don't really have many serrated blades, so thought it would be good to have the variety here. And then not overwhelmingly large or anything, just super functional, useful. And then one of the cool things that I like about this particular knife is it also includes a pair of scissors, which are a great size. They work very smoothly. They're actually useful. I use the scissors pretty much as I use the blade. So again, just really great form factor, looks great, and is gonna fit very nicely into the everyday carry of anyone who wants to be prepared. So if you're looking for some great EDC options, these are two of the best options to take a look at. Another quintessential Father's Day category for me is flashlights. I absolutely love EDC flashlights. I've featured them in so many of my videos. Even though phones nowadays have flashlights included, there's a lot of practical reasons to actually still have a physical separate flashlight. And here I have two interesting options. On the one hand, I have what is probably a more traditional everyday carry flashlight. It's got a really nice form factor that's still pretty pocket friendly. It's got a dual carry clip, so you can clip it onto your hat to turn this into a headlamp. It is powered by a single AA battery. This is from 511, so very high quality. And it's got a really nice just button mechanism at the top, so very easy to turn this on and off. This is gonna be just a great option if you're wanting something a little more traditional, simple, that'll just be affordable and pocket friendly. Absolutely recommend this one. But one of the more unique items that I've seen as of late is the Edison light stick from Barebones. This is one of my favorite things about Huckerry is they are constantly curating gear from interesting new brands, and just the way that this looks is so distinct to me. I just love it. As you've probably seen over the past few months on my channel, there's just a heritage vibe that I absolutely love, and this fits right into that. It's a nice blend of modern and classic. It looks like a very fancy candlestick almost, but this is both a lantern and a flashlight in a single really interesting package. They have it with brass, copper kind of aesthetic, which feels really, really durable. And then the functionality here is awesome. This is rechargeable via USB-C. And then it has a battery that's included that is rechargeable, so you can swap that out or have a couple of spares. And then the way that this works is it has this portion on the bottom which you could turn, and it takes it through the various modes that this can offer. So it can either work as a lantern with this middle section lighting up to a variety of brightness levels, and then it also has the flashlight portion at the top, and you can use it with both on at the same time or just as a flashlight or as a lantern. So if you want to use it more like a traditional flashlight, you can do so. If you just want to stand this up, if you're somewhere where you need a little bit of illumination, it will work as well for that. And I just love the sizing of this. Very easy to toss into, you know, any of the bags that I typically have. Probably not something that I would carry in my pocket, but still absolutely love just the unique look, the functionality, the build. It all feels fantastic. And so, you know, for something a little bit different that's gonna stand out, I think this is gonna be a fantastic option, but either one of these is gonna be great, and everybody can always benefit from having a reliable EDC flashlight, in my opinion. No matter how many I collect, I'm always on the lookout for cool new organizational pouches and gear, and that's where Lochby really caught my eye. They seem to have a couple of unique organizers that also had more of a heritage style vibe, which is a little different than many of the more tech focused and kind of sleek options that I tend to feature. And Lochby was actually on the channel many years ago under a different brand name. They were formerly Bond Travel Gear, and they had some really great organizers, Adopt Kit, which I really enjoyed using. They since rebranded, relaunched, and I was happy to have a chance to get hands-on with some of their pouches. So here I have the Venture pouch, and then they have a tool roll. I'm not really as big of a tool roll guy. I haven't used this as much. The form factor of the tool roll seems really cool in general, and so this will definitely be a functional organizational option for some people. Both of these have just a really nice kind of wax canvasy exterior. They feel very durable. They're offered in a couple of different colors. The tool roll has this G-hook with a couple of different attachment points depending on what you're gonna carry. It's got an adjustable strap, and then it unwinds, and it provides a lot of different kind of bands for, you know, if you're an artist, if you have a lot of different kind of pens and pencils that you're carrying with you, brushes, if you have a lot of tools. This is gonna be a really cool tool organizer. It could be an EDC organizer as well. You have some slots on the back that are gonna offer a nice amount of space for something like a mouse or a charger or something, and then of course the bands for pocket knives or for adapters and things like that. You also have a little zippered pocket at the bottom for anything smaller that you don't want getting lost. So, you know, it's a very cool functional idea. I think it'll work for a lot of people. It's just not something that I've normally used as much for the way that I like to organize my stuff. But, you know, I would definitely recommend it, particularly because it can get a little bit slimmer depending on what you're carrying. For me though, the Venture pouch has quickly become one of my favorites. There's just so much about this pouch that is in line with what I tend to look for out of an organizational accessory like this. So first up, the aesthetic is fantastic. This matches up so good with some of the heritage bags that I have been talking about a lot on the channel recently, like the Heritage M23 and the GR1 from GoRuck. It's just such a perfect kind of companion to those. On the outside, it's got a couple of D-rings that you can, you know, pair with some carabiners, clip it onto some of the webbing that's found in some of these bags. I believe that Lochby also has some straps that will allow you to turn this into a small sling. It's got a good handle so you can carry it or quickly pull it out of a bag. And then I like that this doesn't have a super rigid form factor. This is one of the things that I tend to like in pouches because I can squeeze it into tighter spaces. And the sizing on this is a really good balance because it's big enough to offer enough space for the types of things that I would carry, but it's not overwhelmingly bulky. And then again, because it's not rigid, just kind of molds around whatever's on the inside. And this will work really well as a dot kit or a tech pouch. I'm currently using it as a tech and EDC organizer. It's separated into two separate segments. So you have one area that opens up a little bit wider, the zipper goes around, and then it has just some bands that'll allow you to store some of the typical tech and EDC items that a lot of these pouches tend to. So I have a pen in one of these slots, I have a USB-C adapter for HDMI, I have a wired set of headphones, and then I also have a multi-port cable. And I like that these are pretty large bands, but not overwhelmingly so. There's not so many that it's uncomfortable to use this. And then you can see how this would translate well to a dock kit if you want to put your razor, a toothbrush, a comb. So really functional layout here, nice bright lining. And then on the other side, you have a larger space for any of the bulkier charger or tech items that you might be using. So these are the types of things that I always have with me. You have one segment that's just kind of open, and then you have a divider in the middle. So it's nice that you have some organization, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't impede me in how I want to actually set the pouch up. So I have a little wall adapter with USB-Cs, USB-As. I have my Peak Design mobile tripod in here, portable battery. All the items that I'm pulling out as I go are also additional great kind of bonus gift ideas, so make sure to keep those types of things in mind. And then on this side, I have a couple of cables just kind of loosely sitting there. A lightning cable, USB-C for my laptop, And then on one side, you have some Velcroed mesh pockets that have a decent amount of space. They're not super elastic or anything like that, but great for just separating out some of the items that you want to grab more easily. In my case, I just have my portable hard drive with the cable that goes with it. And so really just functional, simple layout, but very well built. I think it looks great. And if you know somebody who's got more of a heritage style vibe and they're looking to, have something to help organize their stuff, then some of these options from Lochby are going to be fantastic to take a look at. It wouldn't be a Danny Packs gift guide if I didn't include at least one bag. And one of the options that I've really been enjoying as of late is the 511 Daily Deploy Pack. I actually have a full review coming out for this really soon, but I wanted to make sure to include it in the Father's Day gift guide as I think it's a really interesting functional option. The price point on this is actually pretty impressive at the time of filming. It comes in at around $125. Nowadays, it seems to be harder and harder to find great bags for under $200 or $150. So that alone is a kind of a standout aspect of this, but then the bag itself is actually really functional and useful. So the exterior is a really nice 500D nylon that feels like it's gonna, be rugged and reliable. You have great YKK zippers, a lot of attachment points and webbing along the exterior. You could pair this with a variety of pouches or carabiners like some of the other options I've actually featured in this video. You have some compression straps to allow you to clip on additional items and compress the bag down when it's not in use. You have a pretty comfortable harness system here that you can also stow the straps away on if you just want to carry it without having to deal with the straps. And then you have a nice pocket layout. The bag comes in at about 28 liters, so it's a nice minimal travel size if you want to get a nice weekender or carry-on friendly bag for somebody in your life. This one's going to have a lot to offer in that regard. You have a nice quick access pocket at the top. You have a side pocket that's going to be useful for either a water bottle or just other quick grab EDC items. So really functional layout that doesn't go overboard. And then one of the cool aspects about this is it actually opens up like a suitcase. So that's where it works really well for traveling because you can just throw all your stuff in here. It's got a really simple layout. You have a laptop sleeve on the back that has a pretty good amount of padding. It's suspended, and then you have some organization provided inside. You have these mesh pockets, and then you actually have a whole separate area to kind of segment your stuff out. And then if you don't want to use it for travel, it still works pretty well as an EDC bag. So again, just really durable, functional. I like the look. And if you want a durable, versatile kind of all-purpose bag coming in at under $150, this is going to be a really interesting option to take a look at. And so that's it. Those are some of my favorite Father's Day gift ideas for 2024. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any questions on the items that I featured in the video or suggestions for other cool Father's Day gift ideas, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I'll make sure to include links in the description below to some of the other roundup videos that I've done recently, like my summer travel and EDC gear roundup, which featured some really cool apparel, footwear, sunglasses, some of the bags that I've really been enjoying. So more kind of traditional Father's Day gift ideas if you're looking for some inspiration. I also did one where I shared some of my favorite minimalist travel and EDC gear to help you simplify your loadout a little bit. And I'll also link to Huckerry's Father's Day page. They have a really cool curated list of the gear that they're featuring, some of the specials that they have, so make sure to check that out. As far as shipping dates on Huckerry, the 9th of June is going to be the last day for standard shipping to ensure that it arrives in time. I believe that the last day for expedited shipping is going to be the 13th. I'll make sure to include those details below if you want to check them out. So thank you again to Huckerry, and as always, thank you to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.